Let's get started. Hello, I am Brandon Carey, and welcome to a new series called Tea and Crumpets, where we will play The Council, which is a very unique game that I enjoy talking about. I don't know if I actually would qualify as enjoying playing this game necessarily, but it's interesting. Um, there's a lot to it, and we're gonna start a new game and talk about it is for those of you who aren't aware, the council is kind of like a choose your own adventure slash RPG hybrid, um, and I'll talk about more of what that means when we actually get to the mechanics of the game. But it is it is something that I've never quite seen before or since, and it came out last year. It's a very small studio, I think, who built this game, and that does kind of show, especially in the assets. But it's something that I think another dev team, or maybe even the same dev team later on, could get another try at this and see what they can come up with, because there's some really fascinating stuff. This takes place, as the subtitles tell you, in France, and near the 1800s, but not quite. Still in the late 1700s.
Stop! You're not getting anywhere with this, Von Borchert.
You know, I kind of get the same feeling, my dear Sarah. Listen. Nothing.
The mouth
Not
flaps.
a sound. No one's coming to save you.
They're real
That's
bad.
what you think. The Golden Order knows exactly where we are.
By the time your ridiculous secret society turns up, I'll be long gone. As for you, nothing will remain of your body.
If you touch a single hair on my mother's head,
On your body!
alive.
You know, Louis, I have no intention of beating your dear mother. There are more persuasive ways of making you talk. You've stolen something from me that I intend to get back.
Ay, ay, ay.
Where have you hidden it?
Von Borchert, you can't sell that book on the black market anymore. This is finished.
We know you're planning on selling at one of Lord Mortimer's parties. All right? Just tell us who the buyer is and we can make a deal.
You've no idea of the
Ay,
trouble
ay,
you've
ay.
gotten yourselves into. Oh, but you will tell me where
So-
it's hidden.
We know that
I
these
can
two
promise you that.
are important characters.
Stop annoying our host, Louis. Son, didn't what happened to you in Rome teach you anything?
Just a few more minutes and my concoction will be ready. With this, your bodies
actually
will
does a pretty good
dissolve
job
in
at
less than 4
establishing-
hours.
A couple of key details.
You'll see. It loosens tongues in no time.
You know, I have to admit, Mother, the only thing you've ever taught me is that damn motto of yours. Always remain rational. And open. I got it. I've opened our shackles.
Draw him over here. I'll take care of him.
See, you established
Burchard.
that these characters are resourceful, which
Von Burchard,
will be relevant in the
Listen.
time to come.
let's make a deal. I'll tell you where the
So
book
establish a
is
bit of our setting.
if you let my mother go free.
Oh, what are you playing at?
Don't worry, Mother.
You want to play the hero. Pity you're not in any position to do so. For the last time. Where is Al-Azif?
I don't know any of the
do this.
actors
me.
in this game. Thank you for joining the chat, Nova. So here is our first choice. Our mother wants us to let her handle this big boy, or we could do it ourselves. Do we trust her, or do we just, She does look like McGonagall! Now that you mentioned it, yes, she does look like McGonagall from Harry Potter. I never thought of that. But since I've already beaten this game, I'll let the chat decide. Do we trust her, or do we not? I think it'll be a little fun if I let the chat make my choices for me, since I've already beaten this game before my own. And I've seen my own outcome of the council. So, do we act on our own? Or does Mother Dearest take the spotlight here? Either way will be our one of our character defining moments in our first big choice of the game here in the prologue. And what we established so far, we established that these two are working for a secret organization known as the Golden Order. We established that they have stolen a book from this man, that this man is angry about that, and to the point where he's willing to kill both of them. And we've established that they are resourceful and able to think on their feet and quickly improvise solutions to complicated problems. Even if they aren't a deal, they get the job done. So, do we trust our mother to have that ability and just to deal with the situation, or should we act on our own? I'm curious what the chat has to say about this choice. Or if we take dial too long, I'll just make my own choice. But either way is fine. You know what? I saw the trust one next time. This time I'm just gonna act on my own. Hazard to the trade.
For God's sake, Louis, I told you to let me do it. Let me see.
You know, I was in control of the situation, Mother.
Oh, tell that to your nose. It's because of this kind of reaction that I prefer to work alone.
You ought to learn to trust me, Mother. Can't you be happy for once? We finally cracked the Von Borchert case?
He was just a middleman. He would have been more useful alive. How many times must I tell you? You must never put your life on the line for me. You're much more important than you can ever imagine.
Oh, I didn't get this last time. Last time she just kind of knocked him out, and we just left. If you let Mother handle it, she's just perfectly fine at taking care of him on her own. Or I guess McGonagall we'll probably call her for the rest of the game. But yeah, I guess this kind of shows that Louis, who is our main protagonist, is basically inept. So really the problem with the council is that, like, you have a lot of really interesting characters and motivations and all that, and your protagonist comes across as very milquetoast for most of the game. And we'll start talking about that later on as we introduce the rest of the cast, because this is going to be something we're probably going to play through for maybe a couple months. But this is a very interesting. It's very interesting that despite all the writing that this game does, the actual protagonist does kind of end up falling flat a lot of the time.
You just had to pick up Von
And yes, Big Bad Wolf
own,
created this game, and I
ditched me in
appreciate that studio
Paris
name.
with no explanation, and off you go to infiltrate one of the world-renowned receptions of this Lord Mortimer, and now he writes me to say that you've gone missing on his private island? Which, by the way, looks more like a big rock than a paradise island.
This is the council. So you didn't hear what the protagonist said. The mother
least
character.
He could do is explain to me how he managed to lose you. In any case,
It is time for you to stop all this, Mother. It no longer suits your age.
Oh, I'm gonna have that scarf
I'm
for the rest of the
sure
game
I'll
because
find you once again, slogging through the caves beneath the island, searching for some long-lost mystical object that you just
in
can't
my
live
first one
without.
I didn't get that scar.
I'm already hating this trip, and all I've done is think
Contrary
about
to
it.
what one may be able to imagine, it was not the host himself who invited me.
Well now, Duchess, we find ourselves both invited by Sir Holm.
Well, how very amusing. Perhaps we have some common interests, Your Eminence. Is this your first time at one of Lord Mortimer's legendary parties?
Oh no.
Yeah, this is
We have
very
been friends
Victorian.
since long ago. But as I'm doing some business with Sir Holm, the invitation came from him.
Well, I simply can't wait for all the festivities to begin.
And you, good sir, what brings you here?
Lord Mortimer asked me to join him. We have some business to take care of.
Oh, how mysterious. You adapt quickly, my son. You get along here like a fish in water. Would you believe that we are all here hoping to solve our personal issues?
Of
You'll
course.
see.
Right. I doubt that you came here to look for your mother, Your Eminence.
Anyway,
I
consider
do
yourself
think the
fortunate,
scar
young
makes
man,
him look a little
because there
cooler
are
than his
many who
default
dream
model
of simply
because
one day setting foot on this island. And only a very
I'm being
few
honest.
ever make it.
Honestly, all the models in this
Indeed,
game do
I
look
imagine this must be
kinda
your
bad,
first time here.
but that's okay given the studio we're talking about. We're talking about a big name studio. Turn the question back to the Duchess.
And you, Duchess? You seem to be quite accustomed to things here. Am I right?
I do not think that one can ever get accustomed to what Lord Mortimer prepares for his guests. But you are right. This is not the first time I've been on this wharf.
If you've come back again, I imagine you must find it to be of some interest.
Here, everything is possible if you make the right choices. It really is up to you whether you leave better off or not.
Please excuse me if you find me overly curious, young man. I did not mean to cause you any embarrassment. Come, Duchess. They are waiting for us.
We're moving, Monsieur de Richet, if you would like to join us.
I'm coming, Duchess.
So to summarize,
A Duchess? I wonder if all the guests here are this prestigious.
our mother is
If I'd
missing.
known, I would have gone for a better suit.
She came to this party, and
Are you alright?
hasn't been seen in a while. Which is since this is an island surrounded by water, the odds of her not being on this island are basically 0%. And so we're here on invitation to look for her. But we've now encountered these two.
Mother? Oh shit.
And now we're
Your
having a
hand.
psychic vision of this.
So,
Okay, it's done.
did you put it in a safe place?
Yes. I made sure no one was following me. Don't worry, Sarah. No one's going to find it.
Are you absolutely sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Yes,
Right.
this game has psychic visions.
Just one thing left
it's
to
just
do.
an element. There is a supernatural element to this game.
What?
It gets
Have
more
you
pronounced
lost
as
your
the game
mind?
goes on.
There's no other way.
If you kill me, you won't find it.
That is the point, my dear. No one must ever put their hands on it again.
No. But I trusted you.
And these visions form a lot of the core mystery of the game.
Don't! No! No!
You can run if you want to, Sarah, but you will pay when you die.
Because there is an element of mystery and intrigue to the events of the council. That's part
Are
of
you
the
right?
of
What's
the
going
game.
on? Here, take this.
I'm sorry.
Keep it. Are you better?
I'm fine. Don't worry. It's getting late. Why don't you go on ahead and I'll catch up with you, okay?
Are you sure?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm sure, yes.
Fine.
I definitely have to find Mother quickly.
And so
Am I going
now
crazy or what? This can't be real. The Duchess arrived with me. What's happening to me, for God's God's sake.
And now we have a vision of our mother,
Absolutely need to find you, Mother.
killing this woman who we just met. And we don't know what's going on, but we have a lot of questions.
Louis, during the trip, I had something I wanted to ask you, but we didn't happen to run into each
You were in
other.
the same
Yes,
boat!
Duchess?
I'm not sure if you remember, but we've met before. At that time, you were of two minds as to your choice of career. Tell me, what have you been up to since?
And so this is where we choose our actual class. Diplomat, occultist, and detective, and that affects basically our starting skills. And each one gives you a different set of skills. Like diplomat tends to be towards the more social end of the spectrum. Detective is more along the discovery or intuitive end of the spectrum, and occultist is more in the sciences, the supernatural, and sneakier aspects of the spectrum. And so whichever class you pick is determines basically your base stats. I chose detective in my first run of the game, but because of the skills I ended up speccing into during my run, I'm going to choose to start as the occultist for this run. And as an occultist, my occultist skills level up faster than my skills in other classes. And they're already at level 1, whereas all these are at level 0. So I'm going to actually put points... Well, I can get manipulation up to level 2 right now, if I want to. And we'll see what these levels mean in the future when we actually start having conversation options. But for now, just know that these all have very important effects throughout the course of the game. So for now, we'll just pump into manipulation to get to level 2. And that will reduce the effort cost of manipulation by 3, and you'll see what that means later on. So we'll validate that choice. We are now the occultist.
I have been involved in all sorts of unsolved cases. Have you ever heard of the Abbey of Hexham?
Vaguely.
An ingenious scam involving mass manipulation on a scale never seen before.
There was a cavern under the abbey, wasn't there?
Exactly. The wind would blow in through spouts, creating a terrifying howling sound. So, to stop the howling, the priests called for offerings from the peasants.
And if they brought enough money, I'm guessing the priest stopped the howling. A perfect trick to fool simple souls.
Admit it, Duchess. That story kept you in suspense, didn't it?
Yes, it did. I'm
And,
delighted to find out that you
that
were the
gauge,
young
by the way, on the
French
bottom left-hand
investigator.
corner,
For someone who
is
only
our effort
remembers the
point
case
score,
vaguely,
which we can
your
expend
memories are very
as a
clear.
resource to do certain tasks.
Well, they say I have the memory of 2 people. But please, call me Emily.
Fine, Emily. Tell me, I was actually helped on that case by my mother. You wouldn't know her by any chance?
Wait, Louis. We've already met. You do remember me, don't you?
So Louis, as a fact, does not remember who this woman is. They met before, but she doesn't remember. So we could be honest and say I don't remember her, or just bold-faced lie to her and say, I remember who you are. You're a great lady. You're perfect. I love you. We're gonna be honest because I don't see a reason to lie to her right yet. And it's not really a big lie or a
Please
big
excuse me, madam.
thing.
I'm sure we've met before, but I don't remember where.
I appreciate your honesty, even if it's not very flattering for me.
I imagine that with your beauty, madam, it's the first time a man hasn't remembered your face.
Well, I must say you make up for yourself rather elegantly.
Please stop torturing me. I'm completely at your mercy. Where have we met?
4 years ago, in London,
No. Sorry, I don't remember.
in the office of William Pitt. Remember? No?
I'm so sorry, Emily, but I really don't remember you.
Let's drop it, Louis. It doesn't matter. Right, time to go to the manor.
And so, there's no tutorial for the game, where at certain intervals, if you can notice details based on your stats, and if you do notice them correctly, then that will tell you something about the character that you're observing.
I ask her a question, she answers with another. Is she playing with me?
And so this will reveal
Emily, please excuse my
an
insisting,
immunity.
but you still haven't answered about my mother. Do you know her?
You'll see, Louis. Everybody here
And
knows
now we know
Sarah
that Emily is
Duchet.
immune to logic. So if I use the logic
I
skill
don't know
against
where
her, she
we're
will be
going
able
with
to
this, Emily,
to
but you're connected to my mother one way or
resist
another.
the logic
And
check.
if I can believe my
essentially.
vision, you don't have much of a place in her heart.
So before we go, let me inspect the mailbox here, or see if I can inspect the mailbox here. Guess not. I think that comes later. We got a royal jelly. And those are, and that stuff are like items that we can use. There are 4 different item
Must be an
types.
incredible view from up there. Impossible to set foot on the island without being seen from 300 meters away.
I'm gonna use the controller actually instead of the keyboard and mouse because I enjoy the controller a bit more. And there are 4 item types that we can use in the game that will do various things for us during conversations. Because this is like a conversational RPG.
Good evening,
More or
sir.
less.
May I ask your name, please?
Louis Moras de Richet.
Monsieur de Richet. Delighted to welcome you among us, sir. You must be Sarah de Richet's son. I must tell you we are doing our utmost to find your mother as quickly as possible.
I have an appointment with Lord Mortimer. Would you be so kind as to lead me to him?
Unfortunately, sir, I cannot. I don't know exactly where my master is. But rest assured, sir, everyone is waiting for you at the manor. Sir Holm insists on welcoming you in person. Since your mother went missing, everyone
I
has
feel
been
weird about the
concerned
fact that all
finding
the
her.
servants have
Who is Sir Holm?
complete face concealment
Close
masks.
friend of Lord Mortimer's. Please, rest assured, sir, it won't take us long to find your revered
I know it's
mother.
because
Indeed,
of models.
we are searching the quays again because lights were seen at the wharf just last night.
Where we are now?
Indeed, sir. According to our information, lights were seen in the middle of the night, sir. After verification, none of the guests seem to have left the manor last night. We think that perhaps Sir's mother was here.
So now we have the ability to use a skill check, but I don't have the intimidation skill, so I can't actually use that skill check. So because I don't have the questioning skill here, I have to cast
Did
another
anyone
question.
see anything else?
Unfortunately not, sir. Only lights were seen by servants of the manor, sir. And as I was saying, sir, all the guests were asleep, and no one seems to have noticed anything at all. We seem to have found an object that would appear to belong to Sir's mother. A handkerchief. The handkerchief is embroidered with the initials SDR. We came to the conclusion that they are the initials of Sir's mother, Sarah de Richet. I have orders to give it to Lord Mortimer as soon as I see
Another
him.
clue to
I
our
know my
mother's
mother.
disappearance.
She's not the kind to go for a midnight stroll on the wharf for nothing. I've got to find out what the hell she was doing here. Where exactly did you find the handkerchief?
On the landing dock, sir.
This voice
the
actor
one
is
you
really
arrived
bad.
by.
And so since I have manipulation, I can use the manipulation check, but since I don't have logic or conviction, I can't make those checks.
Pass me the handkerchief.
But sir, my orders were to give it to my master.
Are you refusing to give me my own mother's
now we know
personal
that
belongings?
servants
Even though she was greatly
are
looking
vulnerable
forward
to
to meeting your
manipulation.
master, she's gone missing. And you seem incapable of finding her.
Oh, but sir, please.
And to top it all off, you refuse to give me the handkerchief that she so often let me use? Do I deserve such little consideration in your eyes? Is that what you wish me to report to your master?
No, certainly not, sir. Please forgive me, sir. I have been such an idiot. here you are.
Yes. And so we manipulated him into doing what you want because he's actually, like, really easy to manipulate.
It is indeed
And
your
all the
handkerchief.
servants are. The servants are treated as one
You
character
must
in
have
the
come here
game's
for a specific
codex.
reason. I need to know what it is.
So if we see a
What could you be
servant, we
doing
can
out
use the
here on this
manipulation
wharf?
skill to make them basically bend over backwards for us. And if you have level 2 manipulation, that's even easier than it would be normally.
It's locked. I'll never
The
get
butler
open
did it.
bare-handed.
Now, I could pick the lock, because I have a subterfuge, but that will expend 3 of my effort points. I want to come back and see if I can do this another point, just to conserve my my effort.
Hey, there's something not right about this floorboard. It's different from the rest.
I don't have agility, so I can't rip it up, but I can examine
Somebody
it.
replaced it recently, but looks like it's fixed pretty solidly in place. It's going to be tough to rip it out of here. Ah, shit! It's not coming up. I'll never manage it barehanded. I need something to lever it with.
To lever it. Oftentimes, skill checks will also be useful in just bypassing challenges. Which is something we might come to at some point later in the game.
Looks like the barrel's been broken for quite some time.
And with this...
Looks like a bar from an old gate. This miserable old bar has been broken fairly recently. The edges are still clean, and the tip is blackened. Without analysis to the contrary, I put my money on cannon powder.
We could
This
probably
might just
use
come in
this
handy.
bar to pry open that floorboard.
A sack of seeds. It's unopened. No one seems to have used it. I think this chest might belong to Duchess Hillsborough.
So yes, with this bar, we are playing also kind of like an adventure game along with a RPG. We can use this to hopefully pry open the floorboard.
That does it. Let's see what's hidden inside. There's a book and also a bag. The Mysterium Cosmographicum. I know that book well. Mother used to read passages from it to me all the time. And judging from what I can see, it's the same one as hers. For crying out loud, what's happened to you, Mother?
And now we have a book, which is useful.
Let's
Because
look inside
you
the
can
bag.
read
Little food,
books.
a few toiletries, a small key, and some kind of black powder. Some fruit, a piece of bacon, and some bread. The fruit's still firm. And the bread's a bit stale. From the smell, this food's been here roughly 2 days. And if it's rationed, there's enough left to last 2 more days.
So, books allow you to essentially increase your skills in the in between missions, and we'll get to that in a second.
An iron key completely rusted.
I'll take the key.
You never know. It might be useful. I hope Mother wasn't counting on it.
Examine the personal belongings.
Shit! Those are definitely my mother's things. I recognize her hairpins. This bag smells of her perfume. A piece of soap, some oils, and her powder puff. What does all this mean?
Powder Puff Girls.
Bottom of the bag is covered in black powder. Right. Just in case, I'll take it all. I'll give it back to Mother when I see
I
her.
love that a whole bag fits conveniently in his back pocket.
Crying out loud. Why did you hide supplies in the middle of nowhere, Mother? I don't know what's going on here, but you obviously feel like you're in danger.
So the plot thickens. Hopefully this key is the key for this gate. And now I don't have to use my effort points.
There we are.
So let's find some stuff over here.
This looks like a pistol case, but it's empty.
More royal jelly, which
I
will
don't
be
know if this
useful.
has anything to do with you, Mother, but if it does, at least now you're armed. Just like in my vision. And none of it's telling me anything useful.
The pistol case, that's just convenient. We did see her. Well, we did see her use a pistol, so that's not surprising. But it does give us some more
This
details
wharf
to work
is
with.
used as storage for a lot of barrels. What have we here? It's cannon powder.
Now we can examine the difficulty. Since we have so the way effort points work is that each skill check has a difficulty, and level 1 of a skill, you expend that many effort points per its difficulty. So if it's difficulty 3 check, it requires 3 effort points, like that gate we had earlier. Since this is a difficulty 0 task, and we have the science skill, we can just do it for free. So we're going to observe. We're going to examine the cannon powder.
The powder's wet. Not surprising, given the dampness of the dog. It's unusable now. I don't know what the person who left this barrel like this had in mind, but it's a waste. Apparently, someone on this island has gone through a whole lot of trouble to arm themselves. I really must find you, dear Mother, and quickly, too.
That's a piece of amber.
Amber.
When you collect 4 pieces of amber in this game, they raise your maximum effort points. So that's a very valuable find. We'll keep looking for some more clues. It's not a blue sparkle. So this is kind of like the flow of the game: is conversations, then this investigation
See what's hidden
section.
inside.
I don't have logic, so I can't look at the clue, but I can examine the
look.
letters.
It's too badly written, I can't make out the address. A letter written in an Oriental language.
I don't know this language.
The slightest idea what it says.
I don't have linguistics. Linguistics are a gentleman's skill, and we're an occultists.
The addressee's in Sao Paulo, Brazil. That reminds me, it's about time the Order sent some envoys there. The address is 50 Bedford Square, London.
We're just going through and
Probably a
trying to
Dutchman.
see what we can figure out.
This envelope is meant for the Vatican.
If we have an occultist skill, we can make this check.
Apparently this letter is meant for Pope Pius VI, born Giovanni Braschi.
Worth noting is the
I wonder which
occultist
one of
skill
these
is
people
for
was
religious
influential enough to write to the Pope
symbolism
in
too.
person.
It's for both religious and any kind of supernatural element. Falls under the occult skill, which ends up being more valuable than you think in this game. Name rings a bell. I don't think I want to waste my
Nope.
time on this check, or my effort points in this
Address
check.
in Cairo, Egypt. Mortimer communicates with the whole world, apparently.
So we'll step back from this. I think we've gotten enough clues in the wharf. So we are going to
Some rope.
head to
Apparently
the
no one's
manor and
touched
actually
this for a good
start
long time.
our session of the council.
A Latin inscription. Annesis, mi fili quantilia produncia mundus ergatio.
And because our dude is a French gentleman, he can at least know English and French. Yeah, sure.
You don't know, my son, how little wisdom the world is governed with. I tend to agree.
Now we know that, I don't know how that corresponds to an immunity to conviction for the Lord Mortimer, but now we have that information.
How did Mortimer manage to build his manor at the top of a rocky outcrop?
And now begins a game of intrigue and deception. Might even be able to talk about one of the popular memes about this game in the next few minutes. There's definitely a noticeable lower quality of the models and the textures in this game. I think more the textures than the actual models. Though the facial structure for a lot of characters is not great. Memes.
Whoa. Impressive.
Ah, my son. I was looking for you.
What can I do for you, Your Eminence?
I wanted to ask you. You are the son of Sara de Riche, aren't you? You see, your mother and I were supposed to meet here on this very spot. I was supposed to hand her a very important envelope. But I haven't seen her.
If only Mother had told me why she was coming here. Anyway, I ought to take the envelope. It might have something to do with her disappearance.
And now it's
Listen,
time
if it will help, you can
for a
always give it to
confrontation.
me.
This is essentially one of the game's boss fights in conversation form. You don't actually fight people. You have a raconteur with them. So we will be attempting to persuade the cardinal here to give us the letter that was meant for a mother.
Thank you, my son. I'll bear that in mind. I'd rather deal with her directly. Don't take it personally.
As you can see up there, we
Would
can
you
screw up
happen
3
to know
times
if your
before
mother
the
has
conversation is
arrived yet?
over.
Certainly, Your Eminence. Mother got here some time ago. I was hoping to find her when I arrived, but given the hour, she must be asleep by now.
Right. I shall see her tomorrow, then.
By the way, Your Eminence, I wasn't aware you knew my mother.
Ah, if you only knew, my son. I hold your mother in the highest regard. She has rendered great service to the church, and her help is invaluable. I hope that you will follow in her footsteps.
If only she had told me where she was headed.
Nonetheless, our exchanges have always been discreet, and I should like them to remain as such. If your mother wishes to speak to you about us one day, I will not mind if she does so.
That is very commendable. But since we work together on a daily basis, it's surely just an oversight.
Most certainly. You said you work together. What do you do exactly?
If you know my mother, you will understand that I cannot answer you, Your Eminence. I'm sorry, but...
Do not worry, my son. I perfectly understand, and I expected nothing less from you. Discretion and secrecy are both pillars of the organizations for which we work. You are the worthy son of Sarah.
All the same, it bothers me to see you in a quandary, Your Eminence. Is there any other solution?
Basically, this
Look,
guy appreciates
If
secrecy,
it's of any
so
help,
if we
you can
kind of
always
play to
leave
that,
your
then
envelope with me, and
we'll
I'll
be
give it to
fine.
her as soon as I see her.
I hesitate. Up till now, we have always dealt with her in person, and that has always been successful.
We,
Do you
representing
think
the
I should
church.
give it to you?
Let's pretend to manipulate.
Look, you seem hesitant. The simplest thing to do is just to give it to
And,
her when you see her. After all, it's not that
You
urgent.
just noticed
Yes.
a interesting
yes, it's urgent.
character trait in this
mean,
game.
What if we don't find each other?
Where
here
if
on
you
the
exploit a weakness,
Though I don't know yet when
you
I'll be
gain an
leaving.
effort point.
I might not be staying for very long.
So because I use manipulation
What to do?
and this cardinal is
Can
vulnerable
you
to
see a
being
solution?
manipulated,
Come on. Just give me the letter for crying out loud.
I
I
cannot
am
run the
able
risk alone.
to gain an effort back.
I am going to trust you. You seem like an honest man.
Bingo.
Listen to me, my child.
The one that I spent
If I give you the letter, can you
deciphering
promise
that-
me
that
before
text.
God that no one other than your mother will read it?
Yeah, we'll say. Sure.
I swear by the Almighty God to honor the promise that no one but my mother shall cast her gaze upon your letter.
Good. Listen, let's stop there. I'm going to tell you a secret, Monsieur.
Trait unlocked, reliable. These are our traits, and we gain them as we go through the course of the game. This reliable trait gives us 1 more point of manipulation. So, if you look here, we now have 10 points to spend towards the next level of manipulation, as opposed to 11. And as you play through the game, you get all sorts of like point benefits slowly that add up over time. So you'll start getting traits that you never technically put points into because you've gained points through your these static benefits that you acquire over the course of the game. And since we managed to convince Piaggi that we're reliable and we can get the letter, we get this extra little trait that says, "Oh yeah, you're good at manipulating people. Here's a point in manipulation."
Your mother and I are organizing the escape of a large number of French priests who face a massacre organized by the accursed Republican tribunals. The church is literally being bled like a beast. Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the guillotine. She has made the services of your order available to us by organizing the priests' safe passage across the borders. Even if she doesn't
actually
share all
on this real quick. Let's turn the nice volume down to like not at 10. 30 is about good.
her convictions, she always provided assistance. Young
Make it a
man,
little easier for you to hear me.
you can be proud to be her son. Be it only for her sake. Always respect your name. Here. the
And now we'll
I
get a
spoke
letter.
of. It includes a list of about 15 names ready for departure. Be quick. Remember to tell Sarah when you see her that time is short.
Well played. I'll decide later when I'm alone whether to look at what it contains.
So now we have a letter that is sealed, and that will
Lives of the Noble Greeks and Romans by Plutarch.
that's something that we
Biography
might be able to
of
use
the
later.
Great men.
Since we have the level 1 ability to read complex books, we can use.
Open to Brutus's page. Caesar, stabbed by multiple blows at once, sees Brutus raise the dagger on him. Then, covering his head with his robe, he delivers himself to the arms of the conspirators. Nice family. Let's keep it. Might come in handy someday.
And now we have another book that we can study between chapters. Each book you read successfully gives you points and skills. So this is our inventory. Like over here is our books. Let's look around a little, see if there's anything we can take. Just looking for blues. I see no blue auras. Okay, there's one over here. Devil's Thorn grants you Exalted. This ability to see immunities and vulnerabilities affecting dialogue, choice, and conversation. You cannot carry more than 5. This might be a valuable item. But I don't recall actually using many in my original playthrough until the end game, when I just couldn't be bothered to save scum. Which I did do. I don't I say assume a lot for these kinds of games because that's just the kind of person I am. But we'll
I
see.
thought my chimney was big, but this one is beyond belief.
It's the least one can say. I've been longing for a warm fire for ages.
Since I set foot on the island, I haven't ventured more than 2 yards away from it.
That is, by the
Have you
way,
also
George
just
Washington,
arrived?
the
Oh, late
first
morning,
U.S.
I'd say.
president.
Louis, come join us. Monsieur, may I introduce you to Monseigneur His Eminence, Cardinal Piaggi. He joins us straight from Rome.
Oh, just call me Your Eminence. It's simpler.
George Washington, President of the United States of America.
Delighted at last to make your acquaintance,
Yep,
Mr.
that's
President.
George Washington.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. President. Louis Moras de Richet. It is an honor to meet you.
Young man,
Which-
let's keep it simple, please. Let us forget our fancy titles. Nice to meet you, Louis.
I should imagine you never thought you'd be in such company.
I must admit that I didn't. It's the first time that I've ever met so many illustrious personalities.
And you haven't seen anything yet. Generally, when Lord Mortimer organizes one of his receptions, there are over a dozen people here.
They can't all be here yet, and you'll see, most of the time there's only the upper crust.
And I noticed you were already getting to know His Eminence at the entrance. It's the perfect place to build up a network. What were you talking about, if you forgive my indiscretion?
At the risk of disappointing you, we weren't conspiring in our corner, sir. His Eminence was simply telling me that he knew my mother and how much he held her in high esteem.
It so happens that Monsieur de Richet's mother is to join us.
Oh, pity. No scrumptious gossip or juicy tidbits, unmentionable secrets,
Yep.
or even money matters. But
This-
you'll see, it will come. Despite all the goodwill in the world, you can't stop people scheming left and right around here.
Speak for yourself, sir.
Well, my friends,
Yes,
do any of you know
wealthy
the
party
reason why
jokes
we're
that
here
aren't
this
actually
time?
funny.
Not
This
in
game
the
has a lot of
slightest.
those.
As for me, I've been invited by Sir Holm, a close friend of Lord Mortimer, but I do not know the reason why.
You see, Louis, every time Lord Mortimer organizes a reception, he always finds a moment to set up a chat with all the guests,
During which time we remake the world.
accompanied by gallons of absinthe and cussing. I'll leave you to imagine the result.
So, if I understand rightly, Monsieur de Richet, you've come out here to join your mother. For what reason, exactly?
We might as well play our. May as well just say
Lord
it.
Mortimer asked me to drop everything and come find my mother, who seems to have disappeared during her stay here.
Ah,
I took the first boat, and here I am.
I'm so sorry.
Don't be, sir. It's not your fault.
Let's be honest. Sure.
Seriously, though, I know your mother well. Stay behind with me afterwards, and we'll take a moment to speak about her.
Good lord. Washington is wearing the emblem of the Grand Master of the Golden Order. It's the highest distinction of the order in the United States. It puts him on par with my mother. He must really know his stuff when it comes to the occult.
Good evening, my friends.
Holy shit. That's the man from my vision.
An urgent case.
That
has
was the
delayed our
most
host, Lord Mortimer.
milquetoast
He can't
holy
be
shit
present
I've
this
ever
evening,
heard.
And he sends his deepest apologies.
Holy shit.
He's asked me here and he hasn't even turned up? Great start. Do you know that man?
Sir Gregory Holm, an English aristocrat, very influential. He's also close to Lord Mortimer, so don't be surprised if he acts like he's at home.
And now, my dear guests, a light meal is served in the small salon. For those who would like to, you're invited to follow me into the next room.
My dear fellow, you must have read my thoughts. I shall follow.
We'll have to be careful not to make too much noise. One of Lord Mortimer's guests is relaxing.
Oh, we shall be quiet.
Don't take it the wrong way, Sir Holm, but I have already eaten. Thus, I shall be happy to remain by the fireside.
Here comes our next
If you
big
don't
choice,
mind,
guys.
Gregory,
Get
I
ready.
should like to keep Mr. Washington company.
Please feel at home. And you, sir?
If I stay with Washington, we'll be able to speak about my mother. But on the other hand, I'd like to learn more about this home. I saw him in my vision.
So we can we can talk to George Washington, or we can go with Holmes and Home over here. Any preference, chat? Do you want to talk to the president, or to an English aristocrat? It's a tough choice. Okay, sure. We'll go see with Holmes.
My vision is more important. Let's follow home.
I'll follow you, sir. Mr. Washington, I hope to speak with you at greater length on another occasion. Emily, please excuse me, but I would like to speak to Sir Home. I shall see you later.
My friend, I hope our dear Giovanni is well.
So we know now about George Washington. But we don't know any of his traits yet.
The troubles in France have fatigued him, but he will recover slowly. Do not fear. He apologizes for remaining in Rome. The voyage was too much for him.
And right he was too. The mildness of the Mediterranean, eh? Come, sit down and have something to eat, my friend. You look
We don't have
pale.
politics, so we can't use
Excuse me, sir.
here.
I have been neglecting my duty. I haven't introduced myself. Sir Gregory Home, an old friend of Lord Mortimer's.
A real pleasure, sir.
God,
You
his
must be
face
well
is
used to
bad.
the court of France. How do you find this peaceful little haven?
Charming if I hadn't come here for disturbing reasons.
Yes, I heard the news. What a story.
Indeed. I wanted to ask you. You seem to know my mother well. Is that true?
Who does not know of her, sir? She has such a wide circle that everyone knows your mother from a distance or closer.
Everyone knows Sarah, my son.
But you only know her by her reputation.
I remember she once worked for the Crown of England and that she always honors her engagements. However,
Interesting.
we have never been personally introduced, sadly.
Well, if I'm to believe my vision, you're not going to get along with her.
Thank you for your answers, Sir Home. But I beg your pardon. I get the impression I know you. Have we met?
Except in my dreams, of course.
Not that I remember, young man. Perhaps you're mistaking me for another member of the Chamber of Lords. What with the wig and the powder, it wouldn't be the first time.
No, you were definitely the one I saw threatening my mother.
I thought... Never mind. It'll come back to me. Would you allow me one last question, sir? I don't want to take up all your time.
I don't know if we're learning
Please,
much.
go ahead. What do you want to know?
Oh, that's your interesting questions. I'm going to ask this one.
Sir, do you know Emily Hillsborough?
Oh, Madame la Duchesse. Of course. It was I who invited her to the island.
Do you know of any link between her and my mother?
Not really, no. They may well have met at the court of King George, but I can't be sure about that.
This seems
No
like a dead
dispute
end.
between them, then?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And even if Duchess Hillsborough is a complex woman to understand, I honestly can't imagine her in a conflict with the famous Sara de Ricci.
No!
Elizabeth! I should have insisted that you rest in your room.
Do you want me to call someone?
Let me handle this. I'm used to this kind of thing.
Thank you, Mr. Dipshay.
Miss, can you hear me?
Leave me.
Slight arrhythmia, nothing too serious. Do you often feel faint?
Leave me alone.
Yes, Elizabeth suffers from poor health. Her fits are part of her daily life.
I would guess it's more like an anxiety attack.
I mean, her
As if
face,
something
like,
had
the faces
suddenly
don't say much in
terrorized
this
her.
game, so you have to kind of go
Reeks
by the
of
voice
laudanum.
acting a lot.
Are you receiving any regular medical treatment, miss? Miss Adams, are you receiving any medical treatment?
No,
I don't know what you have to be afraid of yet, miss, but trying to drive out your demons with drugs won't do much good.
Can you tell me something about her? Who is this young lady?
Elizabeth Adams. She's come to the island for a course of treatment, to rest.
Elizabeth
course of
Adams is,
treatment.
by the way,
That's right. seer can do wonders.
Allegedly the daughter of a
You're right,
president or future
Do you feel any
president.
better?
When did she arrive?
Or a vice president.
4 days ago.
Go back,
Okay.
see which Adams we're referring to. There
mother
are
had
several
already
Adams in
gone
U.S.
missing.
history.
Are you all right, Elizabeth? You gave us quite a fright.
Take it easy, miss.
Let me. I just need to get back to my room.
There's
Of
opportunities left
course,
and
my
right.
dear. Go ahead.
You saw it, didn't you?
Pardon me?
I segni della bestia.
Sorry, Your Eminence. I don't speak Italian.
Forget it. It doesn't matter.
Gentlemen, it's getting late. It is time for everyone to go to bed. It has been a long
Well,
day.
Interesting. You missed a lot of observations, but that's not a big deal.
It's all the more delicate.
I'll see what I can do, but the case I'm on at the moment might well leave me with very few opportunities. Well, I am impressed with all this splendor.
But don't spend too much time with Mr. Washington, my dear, or you'll lose your pretty accent. You seem to be intrigued
Rich
by
people
that statue.
jokes that aren't actually funny.
Absolutely. It is remarkable.
It's worth noting that all the people here
Lord
are
Mortimer
certainly
is
wealthy.
fond of atypical works of art. I won't disguise the fact that I find it all a little megalomaniacal, but I must say, he does have some outstanding pieces.
Sir Hall,
What?
who was that young lady with you?
Elizabeth Adams, Mr. President. She
Oh,
would have liked to have stayed
bullshit.
with us, but the poor thing is exhausted.
Elizabeth Adams?
Miss Adams is here to rest. You have perhaps already come across her in the corridors. She arrived a few days ago.
I perceived her, but we weren't introduced.
Rest assured, she is not here for the same reasons as yourselves. Consequently, I'm counting on your indulgence. On that note, it's very late. You must be exhausted. The servant will accompany you to your rooms.
There's gonna be like a check for every skill, I've noticed. Like, I think that's on purpose. Like, you're supposed to fail most of these skill checks. Because it's the start of the game. like, this game should get a New Game Plus feature. That would be really fun. To play this, like, if you have a high-level
Ladies,
character.
Gentlemen, I
with all
bid
the
you
skills
all
at the end of the
good
game.
night. Mr. President, Your Eminence, Duchess, you have the same rooms as usual. You, Monsieur de Richet, will find your room at the end of the corridor.
Well, my friends, I am bone-tired.
Says
I
the
am off to
corridor,
my
but
bed.
this is a
See
square.
you in the morning.
Good night, sir.
So-
I shall do likewise.
That is
Louis,
not
I
very
shall see you in the
useful.
morning. Sleep well.
Good night. See you tomorrow.
Oh man, it's been quite a day. Right, where is my room? Duchess Emily Hillsborough.
So we can just go to our room and see if we can find any useful items. Can't go back downstairs, so...
Duke Manuel Godoy.
Let's see...
Huh, that's me.
And now we can go to our room.
Right. So what shall I do with this letter? It might be about my mother's disappearance. But if I open it, I'll be betraying Piaggi's trust. What should I do?
So we could open the letter without breaking the seal, unseal letter, or leave a letter closed. I've already played this game, so I'm just going to leave letter closed.
Can't wait to open it, but I gave my word to Piaggi, so... Too bad. I'll wait until I hand it to Mother.
Wow. Nice room. Mortimer sure doesn't do things halfway.
I don't want to spend the effort points on that particular check.
Inferno by Dante.
Abandon hope, all ye who enter here.
Lovely
There's-
lectures Mortimer's giving to his guests. Very jolly.
There's a lot of pretentious literature quotes in this game. But that's fine. That's par for the course. If you're setting a game in this particular setting. And we just added another item called Carmelite Water, where we can use that, and our next skill source is free. I was just going right here looking for items. Not sure what coins do, actually. It's been a while since I played this game. I don't remember them having a use. So this is your little summary of what happened during that chapter. So we did a lot, but let's proceed. You level up based on the things you do in a chapter. So I could dump this into science. I could start expanding into other skills, or you could do something else. For now, what I want to do is try to get to Subterfuge level 2, so I'm going to dump these points into Subterfuge for now. And now we're at level 2 Subterfuge, which will make us a little easier to use that skill going forward. But past this point, I'm probably going to start branching out to at least unlock other skills. We're going to validate this. And so we can choose a manuscript to read that will boost a skill. I'm going to read this one for conviction, since it's the only skill we don't have a point in, a level in. So if we read this, we will master conviction, or we will get a little closer to mastering a skill level in conviction that we can use later in the game. Talent unlocked, sober. Talent. You gain 1 point out of gift for using no consumable during a quest. Okay, so we didn't use any items during that mission, so we got the sober trait. Cool. And these talents will unlock as we fulfill certain criteria as the game progresses. Another psychovision.
Your turn? The servants are not very efficient.
Durocher can't be far away. They'll find her soon. Their search time is restricted, given that they must keep an eye on Adams.
I can take care of her, you know.
Yes. Well, in any case, I do thank you for bringing her to the island.
From what I've understood, the search of de Richet's room hasn't turned up any results.
Not yet, no. But we've put her son in there. Perhaps he'll find something.
That might come in handy.
Louis grows impatient at not yet having met the famous Lord Mortimer.
He will meet him tomorrow.
Oh, what a pity to lose a knight at the start of the game. Are you waiting for someone?
A young French soldier.
during our game of chess?
Don't worry, Gregory. The game won't disappear.
And that is Napoleon Bonaparte.
I'll have one of my men escort you back.
Don't trouble yourself. I know my way out.
Ah, good evening, gentlemen. Please forgive me for this late hour.
It is never too late. We have much to discuss. One
Did
last
you
move?
expect Washington and Napoleon to be in the same room? Probably.
Don't worry. Our games always seem to end like this.
Or always start like this. Come, take a seat, my friend.
Sporting that half tuck.
A little nighttime stroll, Mr. President?
There's nothing like it for a good night's sleep.
Do not hesitate to ask a servant to show you back.
The corridors seem quite safe.
Peppermint, lime flower, and valerian. My miracle remedy when one can't get to sleep. A very good night to you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And to you too, sir.
I wonder how common sleeping issues were back in the day. Let's talk to Washington now.
I'm coming.
Hurry to answer the door. Yeah.
Excuse me. Am I bothering you?
No, not in the least. Is something wrong?
I'm going to need your help. Do you remember the young lady we spoke of in the hall?
I bumped into her in the small salon before.
Well, she is the daughter of my friend, the Vice President, John Adams. But she is supposed to be dead.
Yes,
Yeah,
there's the relation.
That's bizarre. Fair enough.
Good heavens. I was present at her funeral.
It is disturbing indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
I
It
need
is
to make
disturbing
sure it's her.
indeed.
That's where you come in. I want you to distract Elizabeth while I search her room. And perhaps get my hands on some important information. At least I hope so. Elizabeth is in the small salon. If you hurry, you can
face
still
that.
reach her. I just need 10 minutes.
But if my vision is true, there are two men nearby discussing very important issues, and one of them looks much like Mortimer. Washington is very kind, but I came to this island for my mother, not for his ghost story.
Choice time, children. Do we help Washington find out about the dead, or the allegedly dead girl? Or do we investigate the vision that we just got? Choices. I don't know what to do. It's so hard to make a decision. I mean, I could help Washington. He might return the favor later on. That'd be nice. And we might learn more about Liz Adams and see if we can find some information about her that we otherwise would miss. Or maybe the vision is more important. Maybe it's important just to focus on the objective and find our mother. It's hard to tell. I can't make up my mind. I don't know what to pick. He is the President of the United States, so with that in mind, no.
Sir, I don't feel well. I'm going to have to decline.
I see. Well, I hope you won't be needing my help one day.
I must act swiftly. I'll search my room later. Louis, you're straying from your objective.
This is weird. This is appropriate, but also weird music.
I recognize this part of the corridor. I'm close. Locked. Shouldn't be too difficult.
That's what subterfuge is for. To pick locks.
This doesn't seem to be the room for my vision. King George III in coronation robes. Nice touch for the room of an English duchess. It's a letter from Lady Hillsborough that she apparently never got to send. Office 101. Buckingham Palace, London?
Dear Mr. Walsingham, nothing to worry about. I cannot meet you at the palace as planned, as an important matter has cropped up, which requires all my attention. You will guess who I have gone to fetch at dear Mortimer's, and thus you will understand my hurried departure.
What on earth is she talking about?
I can guarantee we'll be back as soon as possible. You will understand that to be able to serve you, I must assemble all my assets. You know I put the interests of the crown above my own. Tell the Queen I, of course, will assume all of the responsibility and consequences for my absence. Your devoted servant, E.H.
Walsingham. Where have I heard that name before? Oh, yes, that's right. It's the name of the famous master spy for Queen Elizabeth I. Seeing that the fellow has been dead for the past 200 years, it must be an alias. No doubt. Emily's involved in the secret dealings of the crown. Well, at any rate, Emily didn't come here to finish up a deal with anyone. She came here looking for someone just like I did.
So now we know a little bit more about Emily. That's okay, we can exploit weaknesses to get our effort back.
Grammar of Port-Royal. Ah, the artistry of the French language in all its splendor. Whoever masters French commands the world. At least, une partie of it. It's Emily's room. She's fast asleep.
Away from the bed. Jesus Christ. Lech? We'll take her shit, though.
An origami. This origami talks about the disappearance of a child. Only borrowing it, of course. A letter from William Pitt the Younger, addressed to Emily. He's the present Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. 2 coils circle the lock.
And I can unlock it without difficulty.
Dear Gregory, thank you for the information. I've managed to find out about the names you gave me. George Washington is a man you can trust. In spite of his obvious talent for politics, he has remained upright.
All right. I've retrieved everything. A letter from William Pitt the Elder addressed to Emily. He was the English Prime Minister. This letter dates from 15 years ago now. Madam, I shall never thank you.
Alright, and we've got some more stuff. Now we can just stroll on out of here. Oh, I guess we have to go past Emily and this way. Because we chose to sneak around.
Sir, I understand your eagerness, but the pressure on my family complicates the task.
Relax, my friend. Your relatives will soon be safe.
So what I saw in my vision really did happen. Well, I hope I haven't missed anything important.
I thank you so much.
Don't mention it. Now that's settled, let us speak about your support.
Yes. You mentioned earlier some assistance from the Golden Order?
Absolutely. I have concluded an agreement with their leader, Lady Sarah Faustine de Richet.
Another case that Mother didn't tell me about.
The funds from the order will finance the building of a foundry in Tuscany. You will soon be able to count on 100 or more cannons for your future campaigns.
I was not expecting so much help from you.
This will be useful in the
When
future.
can I meet this de Richet?
Well, unfortunately, something has cropped up. De Richet has disappeared.
Disappeared? What? Here?
Yes, but the staff are redoubling efforts to find her, I assure you.
So the agreement, is it on or off?
It is on. Her right-hand man has just arrived here to help us find her, and it is none other than her son, Louis Maurice de Richet. I wager he will ensure his mother's commitments are met.
Or die trying.
Not an easy name to live with in these times.
Of course. But from now on, you will deal with him.
This man, it can only be Mortimer.
Very well. I will seek him out.
Merde.
That was some weird jank in that animation.
Well, I better get away from here.
Sneaky, sneaky. Sneaky, sneaky. I don't think people actually sneak like that. We did nonetheless arrive at at some important information by sneaking around.
Louis?
Emily? I can explain.
Perhaps, but remain still.
But first, you could perhaps remove the blade from my throat?
You have 10 seconds to explain your presence here.
Appearances can be misleading. I'm only passing through.
And the origami bird? I suppose it simply flew into your pocket.
Actually, I was just putting it back.
Oh, don't push your luck. What are you doing in my room?
Whoops.
I thought a night's stroll would help me sleep better. A servant must have closed the window behind me
And my window was the only way for you to get back inside. Most convincing. What were you really doing on the balcony?
Seeing the window open, I feared someone had entered your room. With what I'd heard next door, I'd every reason to believe that your life was in danger.
I am a grown woman, but how kind of you to worry about me. Now that I'm safe and sound, tell me more. Has this anything to do with the Order? Oh, yes. Washington informed me you were part of the Order.
You too? You're part of this too?
Yes. Now answer. Do these events concern me? Do they involve the Golden Order?
More and more I get the feeling that something serious has happened to my mother. So if disturbing your sleep in the middle of the night helps me find her, I have no regrets.
That is the most sincere thing you have said to me since we began. All right, Louis, I might have overreacted a bit.
Yay!
Please do excuse me, but next time, please try knocking on my door. I'd be delighted
We didn't
to
die!
for you.
Yay!
Well, I'll remember in that case. Good night, Emily.
Let's see what traits we acquired. Sincere and talent. Subtle for succeeding in 2 confrontations. So we got 2 points of psychology, we got 1 more point of psychology, and then we automatically get a level in that. And we are learning a level in conviction. That's what that blue line means, that we're learning that trait. So, we're actually not too bad at this point. I probably shouldn't have used that golden elixir.
Good night, Louis.
But that's okay. I didn't know that was an option. That's cool. We're making progress. We're learning stuff. The intrigue, the stage is being set.
Your Eminence, what are you doing here?
I wanted to speak to you about something important. Do you still have my letter on you? The one I gave you in the hall?
Why do you ask?
I have a name to add to it.
Here it is.
Thank you, my son. Ah, I see that it's still sealed. I was right to put my trust in you, Louise. Give me 1 second, please. I can't imagine what would have happened if I hadn't added this name to the list.
Whoops.
Please, be sure to give this letter to Sarah the moment you see her.
You can count on it.
Have a good
That's
night.
a cool little check. See if you're a good person or not, or a honest person or not, I should say. You get a different trade if you don't live up to your deal with him, or if you at least can't be bothered to cover it up. So now we have a point etiquette because we returned that letter. So now we can master etiquette or get a level in etiquette and conviction, and probably psychology in the next level up, which will drastically improve what we can do. To other people.
I'm exhausted. I better go to bed. I'll search my room tomorrow. If Mother stayed here right before me, you never know.
And that should be another chapter we just finished.
And Mortimer had better show up.
Which means you should probably get a level up at the end of this. So, yes, that happened. Now we have another level up, so now we get more traits. So we'll put that point in conviction, that point in etiquette, and psychology, and... I don't know what point we should. Let's level up. Let's level up. Put this point in diversion. And my goal right now is try to get a bunch of skills level 1 so I can use the opportunity checks.
All right. In my vision yesterday, I saw that Mother had this room before me. I better search the room. Who knows? Maybe she left me something behind.
And hopefully by doing that, by getting a bunch of opportunity checks, the idea is that I can get more information that I would otherwise not have access to. I want to get this linguistics point because I already have occultism and science unlocked. And I want to try to get a breadth of skills, just at least at the base level, before you start doing some focusing.
Writing material.
Don't have the vigilance to inspect this, but that's fine.
Dear Monsieur de Richet,
I haven't even had time to unpack my cases.
Alright, let's see if we have anything. Devil's Thorn, useful. A coin, I'm not sure how useful that actually is.
Inferno by Dante. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Look, markings on the floor. Just a bit worn out. I was hoping to find something leading to a secret passage. Oh, This bookcase is well stocked.
Oh, this book has been put back the wrong way round.
A Voyage Around the World. The travel log of the explorer, Louis-Antoine de Bougainville.
And now?
One of Mother's favorite books. What a coincidence. And I don't believe in coincidences. It's just too much. I don't know what's going on here, but if you felt threatened, I'll bet you'd leave a clue, wouldn't you, Mother?
Found it. A faint sign of the order, barely visible.
Mother, you undoubtedly must have hidden a clue in this book.
So now we have a clue
Let's see
that
if
we
I can find anything else in this room.
hopefully discover. We have a vigilance though, so we can't do anything specific here.
I'm not far from solving the puzzle. I must keep searching.
Which means we will need to uncover more information. Should be able to lockpick this box as well.
There's a circle around the lock here.
I think we have a circle key.
Must be the trunk Mortimer was talking about. The key should open it.
Let's use the key. You could unlock it for free, but let's use the key. Piece of amber.
There's a note. Effects of Sœur de Richer, to be given to her son, Louis. I should probably take it. I have no space left. I'll retrieve it later.
So we can only hold 4 helpings of any item at a time. And any items that we have in excess of that will be kept where they are, so that we can pick them up later if we need them.
Nothing here. I wouldn't mind a nice, strong coffee, though.
Which is why that royal jelly is still in the box, and we can take it out whenever we're ready for it. We've been kind of conservative in the use of our
Inferno by Dante.
effort so far.
Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Golden elixir.
And so we can start.
Nothing. The torture of Ixion, condemned by the gods to lose his mind because of his arrogance. Writing material.
Alright, let's see. I don't actually remember what this puzzle was, because this is actually a puzzle. I'm gonna have to solve one way or the other. Be something outside. Loading isn't that slow. More royal jelly that we can expend at a later date.
The incredulity of St. Thomas. Why is Caravaggio represented St. Thomas putting his finger in the wound? Thomas looks on but doesn't touch. Saturn devouring his son. Again? I saw the same theme in the hall. I wouldn't like to be his son. Look, markings on the floor.
Alright, so now I'm just figuring out what I can interact with.
I'm not far from solving the puzzle. I must keep searching.
Oh, what is this? Oh, nothing of value. Awesome. It has been literally like maybe several months since I've last played this game, so it's basically out of my memory completely. Now I gotta figure out what the actual solution to this goddamn puzzle is. Or I could maybe just look it up. Alright, this is a walkthrough. I am reading to myself. Oh, this is an achievement guide. That tells me nothing. Oh, the lemon tree, of course. There was something on the balcony.
Here's something that will undermine my botanist's appreciation for the local climate. Let's recap. My mother was in this room. I found a rare edition of her favorite book. She must have left something behind. She must have used the writing materials. What if she used lemon juice instead? An old trick used to hide messages. A message using invisible ink. I bet she used a lemon to leave a message. Now, how do I reveal the message? The message is illegible. I have to keep searching.
Alright. And memory serves. Invisible ink can be lit up with a candlestick.
I don't see how it's technically possible for one type of ink to reveal another. It doesn't make sense.
And in these compounds, you can use effort points essentially to.
If a message is written in lemon juice, the flame will reveal it.
Yeah, you can essentially use your skills to bypass checks and just figure out answers to puzzles. Because I know a bit of subterfuge, I can use the flame to reveal the message.
Aha! It's working! The heat reveals the message. Let's see what my mother wrote. Where all eyes size you up, you must pass by the Gorgon. Gorgon was the name of Medusa in Greek mythology. On the other hand, where all eyes size you up, I don't get it. And judging by the number of paintings in the manor, could be anywhere. After that, she adds, beware hero. The beast always charges the best protected soldier. And that's its weakness. What is my mother trying to tell me? Since you've gone to so much trouble, you must not have only found something important, but you must have also felt like you were in great danger.
And so now we have...
Now I better hurry and find that damn Medusa.
Sir, dinner is served in the red salon.
Typical. I'm not hungry. Please give my apologies to all the guests.
Sir Holm requests your presence, sir.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to wait before going and looking for my Medusa.
Tell him I'll be there in a minute.
Now we have another trait unlocked. Point in occultism, which I'm already well versed in. Perfect.
If I get a chance, I may have to take a little tour through the rooms of the other guests.
So now we can go to the first floor room in the red salon. Or we can try to see if any of these doors we can open.
Might be better to take a different stairway.
So let's see if there's any...
That must be the door to the room of the soldier I saw in my vision.
Yeah, let's try to go into his room and learn a bit about him. Subterfuge is a very useful skill. So is vigilance, apparently.
It's a beautiful weapon, my dearest son. I'm riding...
Oh, okay. Cool.
A bicorn decorated with a cockade. It must belong to a French soldier.
If there's any other items or useful intel I can use in this area.
Golden elixir. I'll keep it for later. My dear Napoleon.
Making some progress in this.
French actor Talma is Nero in Britannicus, the last emperor of the Caesar dynasty.
A Greek drachma. One of the rare ancient coins to be mentioned both in the Bible and in the Quran.
Alright. No information, but a couple of items that we can use in the future. At least the loading in this game is pretty quick.
A few leaves out of an old encyclopedia.
That's some good reading.
A devil's thorn, to be used to uncover the best disguised traits.
I think that's about all we can plunder for right now. So let's go back and see what the guests are doing in the dining room. This could be fun.
Excuse me, Monsieur de Richet. I really need to talk to you.
Hello. You're Elizabeth Adams, aren't you?
Yes, I regret that we haven't been properly introduced.
You had us all worried last night. How are you feeling today?
Better. I was just a bit queasy. Don't worry about it. It happens all the time. Do you really want to know what made me ill? Last night, I found out that your mother was on the island. What are you doing here?
My mother came here to do business with Lord Mortimer.
Just be honest.
But she seems to have gone missing. So I'm here to find her.
I know your mother very well.
Really?
Yes, I have been in your mother's care ever since I was born.
She nursed you.
Oh, I wouldn't say nursed. No, I remember her stare, cold as ice. Her sadistic hands pressing over my mouth to silence me while I screamed in pain. I remember her knees, too. She held me down with them while she cut and burned scars into me.
Hold on a minute. What do you mean?
It's not only about her mother.
When you see her.
But our mother.
She's getting more and more agitated.
Look, I've got to go.
Wait. I need to know more about you and my mother. Why did she put you through all of that? There must be some reason for what she did.
What's the point of rubbing salt in the wounds?
I want to find out what really happened.
No, you really don't want to know what your mother did when I shed my first blood at puberty.
On the contrary, you can tell me anything. Let me be my own judge.
I know your little game. You're no different from the rest of them. You couldn't give a damn about me. The only thing you're interested in is finding out about your mother.
Don't say that. Not everyone wants to use you. Some people care about you, don't they? Haven't you got a sister?
Yes.
I'm sure she loves you with all her heart.
That's basically
She's the
what
only one who
off
cares about
memory.
me.
Because I remember...
I would have put an end to it all by now if it weren't for her. Since you insist, I'll tell you how I met your mother.
Thanks for trusting.
I didn't watch that sitcom.
You see, before I was born, my mother often suffered from hallucinations and fits of anger.
Alright, let's see what traits we learned. Determined, point in questioning. we got a new talent. We got the talent of Swift. Cool. We might end up starting putting points into Vigilance soon at this rate. So we want to kind of we want to start learning new skills. I want to learn Diversion, I want to learn Vigilance and Questioning, so I have those options available if I ever need them, even if they cost me a
Soon
lot.
people could barely recognize her. She became a completely different person. So my father spent an enormous amount of money paying for the best doctors.
I enjoy
but
this
none of them were able to
conversational
cure
boss
her.
battles. They're really, really interesting
The
mechanic-wise.
last resort was to call a priest.
So, is that what your father did?
Because it does kind of test
No.
you on your knowledge of the,
He
of
went
the other
to an
guests
expert in the occult.
in the manor.
Ah, my mother.
Her reputation already extended beyond our borders. My mother's fits stopped at my birth, and Sarah de Richet concluded that the evil had passed into me. Not only did it encourage her to stay, but she took the opportunity to advise my father to separate me from the rest of my family. That's how I was declared stillborn. My fate was decided that very day.
That is
It would
quite a grisly
coincide
fate.
with my mother's frequent trips to America.
I had my first fit when I was 3. That's when your mother began her experiments to rid me of the evil inside.
I understand how you feel, but I know my mother. I'm sure she had her reasons, even if it seems difficult to believe.
Everything she put me through was all for nothing. My whole life was ruined for nothing.
So what brings you here then?
My father used to know Sir Holm. He offered to introduce me to the world's leading authority in the occult.
Lord Mortimer.
This is interesting information
He was
about
my
our
last
mother
hope.
that implies that maybe she's not as good
Until
as
I
we
found
seem to
out
think
he
that
had
she
also
is.
invited your mother.
Maybe there's something
It's
behind
got
the
to be a
scenes that we
coincidence.
don't
I
know
don't
about.
believe for a second she's come here for you.
You can't change my mind about this, Louis. My days are numbered, and I know it.
So now we're learning just a bit more.
What can I do for you, sir?
Now I remember how this
I
guy
am
gives
at
me
your
a
service
lot of items
day
if I
and
can
night, sir.
convince him of them.
As I was unable to bring my personal effects with me, I was wondering if you could find me a few items.
Of course, sir. What would you require?
My good fellow, would you have any amber available?
I would, but
He sounds like an
unfortunately,
addict.
I don't think
like,
I am authorized
like
to
he
give it out,
eats
sir.
amber and needs to
I
get his next
believe it
fix.
is a precious stone.
But I don't understand why that would be.
Well, no point in lying, you know. I know full well you haven't got any.
I would never think of lying, sir. I don't believe I am authorized to give it away. That is all.
Amber? Here? I'd be surprised.
Yet I assure you, sir,
No, you're pulling my leg. I don't believe you.
I wouldn't dare to
Was
joke.
amber like a very
Yeah,
precious
sure.
thing back
You're just leading me
in
on.
that time period or
I dare
something?
you to show it to me, if you really have some.
Because I don't know
Well,
why
then,
it's like
sir,
the collectible that
here is a
boosts your
piece.
focus.
Ah, right. Well, I'm impressed. Can you lend it to me for a minute?
Of course, sir. Here.
Wow, I can hardly believe it. Well, I have other questions.
Of course, sir. But, sir, I believe you haven't given me back the amber, sir.
What? What amber?
The piece I gave to sir.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. You really ought to look after your things. It can't be easy to come across
Dick.
amber in these parts.
My character is a dick.
Well, does sir desire anything else?
Dick.
What's that book you're hiding in your jacket?
The Sorrows of Young Werther by Goethe, sir. And I am not hiding it.
Hand it to me, please.
It is damaged, sir. I would never dare lend sir a book in such a pitiful state, sir. I took it to restore.
Hang on, but it's mine.
Beg pardon, sir?
It's my book.
And now I have all my
telling you, it's
resources
my
back
book.
that I got from this conversation.
With all due respect, sir, I hope sir will understand that I have doubts. You see, I found it in Lord Mortimer's library.
Huh. There you are, then. That's exactly where I left it.
I am quite put out, sir. I don't know what to say.
In that case, I suggest you say nothing and hand it over.
But I...
Now.
But, sir, I... Very well, sir. Here you are. May sir take good care of it. It is damaged.
And you've damaged it as well? Well, bravo. Bravo.
No, I didn't do anything. It wasn't me, sir.
Say pardon.
What
Pardon
a
me,
dick!
Very good. There were some other things I wanted to go over with you.
And that's all. I don't know, we could probably ask him about...
What can I do for you, sir? I am...
Let's talk about...
I would like to speak about...
Do please... Is there anything else?
Aw.
I would like to speak about your math...
Do please excuse... Is there...
Okay, he can't tell me about the master. That's fine. That doesn't help me, but that's fine.
Hey, a Russian ruble. I wonder what it'd be worth today.
Don't sit down. Probably have this salon visit, and that'll probably be the end of our stream for this evening. Once this is over. There's not a lot this first stream of the council. Man, this animation is real jank too. Like the whole presentation in this game. Like this game has some really cool mechanics with the conversations, the
Dear friends,
effort
I
system,
bid you welcome.
the confrontations.
I hope the night was not too short.
But
Your Eminence,
ugh.
Duchess, Monsieur de Richet, allow me to
The actual
introduce
presentation
our
has
new
much to be
guests.
desired.
They arrived during the night. Johann Christoph von Wollner, Minister of Religious Affairs and close aide of Frederick William II, King of Prussia. Napoleon Bonaparte, Lieutenant of the French Revolutionary Army. And Jacques Peroux, French
I don't
Revolutionary
know if Jacques
Tribunal
Peroux is
judge.
a notable name in history. I'd have to actually
Unfortunately, my friends, Lord Mortimer will not be joining us this morning, but he should be with us later. So, let us begin.
What is Mortimer playing at? He tells me to come urgently and he sends no one to meet me?
How was the crossing for you?
Please feel at home.
Peru looks totally out of place here.
He's counting the 10 sets of cutlery around each plate? The man is completely lost.
It's the least one can
Thank you again for the wine, Your Eminence. It is served every day at the king's table.
I am delighted to hear it.
Volner and Piaggi seem to be getting along well.
This is a good opportunity to learn.
Surprising when you know Volner prohibited religious practices in Prussia. Renowned member of the Rose Croix Order, former Freemason, and great lover of alchemy.
Basically,
And
let
look
you
at
test
Piaggi
your
fawning over him.
skills
I really do have a problem
and learn about the
digesting political
guests,
protocol.
which is a really cool way to introduce the
My dear Johann, how are you?
Glad to
the
make
guest
landfall
is by
at
just
last.
mechanically
And
saying,
yourself.
Very well.
this is your opportunity
And your
to
husband.
learn about
He's
them through your
poorly.
checks.
The French Revolution gives him terrible headaches.
Oh, I understand. I shall feel better too as soon as the situation is settled.
If by chance the French crisis is emulated in Berlin, there will always be a refuge for you in London, my dear.
Your offer does you honor, Emily. But London is much closer to Paris than Berlin. Beware. The French are capable of sailing up the Thames straight to the Houses of Parliament.
Oh, my friend, I am shaking in my clogs.
Rich people jokes that aren't actually funny.
Is the wine to your liking?
Very much so, Sir Gregory. Such complexity. Typically French. A Sauterne, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken, this is not Lord Mortimer's favourite wine. It is yours.
In his absence, I have taken the liberty of making a slight deviation from the rule, but I count on your discretion.
Don't worry, I appreciate the same grape varieties as you. I remember the last time we tasted
Wow,
that nectar
okay.
here at this table. The finest minds of the century were present.
And the last time we drank it, the orphanage in Bloomsbury was still in ruins.
Would you repeat that?
Oh, well, I put some small effort into the works. The orphanage reopened just before Christmas. The bedrooms, washrooms, and the classrooms had all been refurbished.
I don't know what to say. You have given the girls a wonderful Christmas gift. Thank you.
I made a promise. Now it is done.
It's the first time I've ever seen her so moved. Just mentioning that orphanage broke right through Emily's hard shell.
She's vulnerable to psychology.
Is everything all right?
Yes, thank you. I had a moment of absence, but here I am again.
My lord, I only know the prestige of your name. Might I have the honor of getting to know you a little better?
You are Monsieur...
Louis Moras de Richet.
De Richet. De Richet. A name with a nobiliary particle. Are you descended from a noble line?
My friend.
The presence of a particle does not necessarily mean a person belongs to the nobility, nor does it prevent the observance of the rules of etiquette, Monsieur Von Bonnet.
Uh-oh. See, talent unlocked, learned. Okay, we discovered all of his... We just, in one conversation, discovered all of one person's vulnerabilities and immunities. Diversion and occultism. Cool. So that's nice to know.
Have you any information on this Napoleon?
Mortimer is arranged to keep his family out of the harmful reach of Corsican monarchists.
Interesting.
And that's not all. Mortimer and my mother have apparently agreed to deliver cannons to this Bonaparte.
What? Since when does the Order finance wars? Are you sure?
Unfortunately, yes. And the fact you didn't know my mother made this agreement makes it even stranger.
Thank you, Louis. At least you have taught me something.
We've learned a bit about people in this
Monsieur
conversation.
Richet, it would seem we have common interests. Could we speak in private, please?
This is a confrontation I remember. You're in a very high place.
Lord Mortimer and the Golden Order, through your mother, have concluded a financial agreement.
Stay composed, Louis. I'm listening.
An agreement for cannons. Lord Mortimer
Another boss
assured
fight.
me that you are to take over the project on behalf of your mother. You must know that I am deeply sorry about our disappearance, but I must validate the deal urgently if I want to be able to organize things properly.
I haven't seen Lord Mortimer yet. I'm afraid I'll be unable to answer your questions.
He assured me that you could replace your mother during her absence.
I appreciate his confidence, but still, this is a bit hasty. But please continue.
Of course, but I need to know if I can count you among my allies.
2 blunders left.
Well, of course.
And for that, I have a little question for you. The agreement stipulates an aid of 50,000 louis d'or for 200 cannon.
I've only just taken over the affair. The agreement will be considered
He's
null
weak
and
against
void
etiquette.
until
That's
we've
good
gone
to
through
know.
it together. Is that clear?
All right, you seem to know what you're doing. I have one last question I would like to pose to you. We don't know each other yet, you and I. And I need to make sure that we both share the same vision for the future of France. Given the hard times that have befallen our beautiful country, what do you think it would take to restore its luster?
I think what France is lacking today is a truly strong leader ready to govern.
If you talk
Someone who
about
will restore
democracy
her
in the
luster,
positive,
who
he's
will propel her
suspicious.
forward, so once again she becomes a proud nation respected by all. A man capable of both rebuilding the country from the inside and, at the same time, developing exterior relations. Someone with a vision, I think. The right
Because these
person
guys are still like,
still
man,
remains to
democracy,
be
what
found.
fucking idiots.
You're right, my friend. I hear your words and I agree. Monsieur de Richet, I am reassured. I am very happy to have met you. Lord Mortimer was right to put his trust in you.
Trait unlocked. 1 point in conviction. Does that give unlock conviction? Okay, I've already had conviction unlocked. Cool.
Hope to work with you in the very near future. I would like to thank you for your support by offering you this humble little gift.
Book.
Reflections on the Revolution in France.
Mr. Bonaparte, I thank you for this gesture, and please know that I, too, am delighted to have met you.
We have succeeded at convincing Bonaparte that we are his ally.
I would like to say a few words, please. I would like to thank Lord Mortimer and you, Sir Holm, for bringing us all together here. Those of us.
This is a good establishing the cast moment so far. I appreciate this little scene.
Are all trembling in sweet anticipation of the arrival of our host. For the rest, I would like to reassure you that Lord Mortimer always has a few surprising projects to propose. But I can assure you that each and every one of us has always benefited from them. The last time I came to this place, Lord Mortimer offered to help me in my electoral campaign for the presidency of the United States. And it is imminently clear that his support was
I don't think that's how that worked in history.
We are here among like-minded people. So let us put aside the conflicts in which some of our nations find themselves at present. So I raise my glass in honor of you all, my new and old friends.
I trust you shall not be disappointed, Mr. Washington. Right, we shall meet again tomorrow.
Interesting.
All the guests will be present, as well as Lord Mortimer, I hope. Until then, I trust you will
understand
find
why the new
plenty
opportunity
to keep
failed.
you amused.
Oh, I must have missed the correct one. Okay. Oh, I could have searched Liz out of the room. That's fine. 2 level ups. Awesome. Let's master these. You have enough to master one more skill. Let's master politics. Actually, no. That's not useful. Let's master agility. And I gain 1 more maximum logic point because, or effort point because I am now level 5.
All right, let's recap. Before dinner, I was going to investigate my mother's message.
And that is as far as we will go today with the council. Thank you guys for watching. We will continue this the following week because I'm on call next week, which means I can't stream anything since I will have tasks on my docket to do. But next time we'll continue this tale of intrigue and suspense, and hopefully figure out what happened to our dearly lost mother. Once again, I am Brandon Carey. Thank you for joining me, and good night, guys. Take care.